Well, what does DC Animation have for us in the coming years? We just got Justice League Warworld, and we know next year has Watchmen and Crisis on Infinite Earths lined up, but now we've got a pretty interesting update from some of the creative team, and there's some pretty ambitious plans coming our way. Let's talk about some of the future possibilities. Well, recently we got Justice League Warworld, and although this entry has not been as well received from fans as many others, the history of DC Animation from Warner Bros. Is more than solid. Over the last 20 plus years, we've gotten a steady stream of DC projects, which is currently in a universe we like to refer to as the TomorrowVerse. Now, typically, we have quite the schedule for these DC animated projects, and starting next year, we actually only have 2 on the list with Watchmen and Crisis on Infinite Earth, leading many fans to wonder what else could be in the barrel from DC Animation that could come our way in the next couple of years. Now, recently, when talking to Screen Rant, the team behind Justice League TomorrowVerse, which included producers Jim Craig and Butch Lukic, along with director Jeff Wamster, shared a few comic book series that they would like to turn into direct-to-DC animated films. Now, some of these caught me off guard, but I'd be down for almost every one of them, and we have 3 pretty good possibilities that could be coming our way in the next couple of years. Now, before we dive into this list, I just want to be clear, none of these are official announcements. This is stuff the production team has been pushing for, and often these are the things that ultimately turn into full-fledged films or even possibly shorts. Now, when asked about what other comic book storylines he would love to take on, Wamster named Tom King and Mike Jannon's 8-part Batman storyline, The War of Jokes and Riddles, as his, quote, dream project. The War of Jokes and Riddles was an 8-part Batman storyline originally written by Tom King and illustrated by Michael Jannon, and focused on a war between the Riddler and the Joker during Batman's second year serving Gotham City. Now, what's interesting about this is Batman retells the events of this war to Catwoman in present day, and this is the setup for Batman to eventually propose to Selina. The event ran from Batman Volume 3 number 25 all the way to issue 32, and is one of Batman's more interesting events because it basically sees Batman's incredible rogues gallery be forced to choose sides and face off, almost like a DC villain civil war. Now, Wamster did say he brings this up about every 8 to 9 months, and he really wants to do War of Jokes and Riddles and would dive right into it immediately. Now, this 8-episode series would probably be done just like The Long Halloween in a 2-parter, and honestly, I would love to see Jensen Ackles narrate and tell this story. It would be an absolute dream, and could even surpass how great that Long Halloween special was, which was also 2 parts. Now, there were 2 other projects that they did mention in this interview that I thought were pretty interesting, and the ones way out of left field. The first one would be Camelot 3000. Now, I would love to see Camelot 3000 come to life, and I think it would be pretty unexpected for many fans, but considering we went to Scar Terrace this year, well, anything is possible. Now, Camelot 3000 is a 12-issue comic series from Mike Barr and Brian Bolland, and it takes the King Arthur myth and reimagines it in a future setting where Arthur awakens in the year 3000 to save Britain from invading aliens. This is an old series, and there were 11 issues published way back in 1982. Now, the second possibility is the Omega Men, and for many fans, they have no idea who this is. The Omega Men are often compared to the original 69 Guardians of the Galaxy team, and they were created by Marv Wolfman, which is always an A, and Joe Staton. Now, they originally debuted in Green Lantern Volume 2, number 141, way back in 1981. And they are a team of intergalactic peacekeepers that operate in a space system that has no Green Lanterns. Now, in the comics, they eventually broke out of the Green Lantern books and received their own series from April 1983 to May 86, which ran for about 38 issues. Now, typically, DC Animation is pretty picky about what they produce into full animated films. You may have noticed this exceeding high number of Batman films or Justice League films, and it's very unusual for them to focus on more obscure characters. But both of these projects I could totally see coming together in one of those DC showcase projects, which often run about 12 to 15 minutes. We recently saw one of those projects attached to Justice Society World War II in the form of Kamandi the Last Boy on Earth, and either one of these would fit nicely into that sort of format and give fans who have never heard of these projects a little bit of an introduction. Honestly, Camelot 3000 and Omega Men are a lot of fun. I was familiar with both franchises as a kid, and I would love to see them come to life, even as a short from DC Animation. Where all this fits into the schedule, we're gonna have to wait and see.